I'm Harrison Graham. Here's what we got coming up on Chicago Bears Now. We got the latest Bears and Packers injury news. Also, a really impressive Bears stat that I want to dive into later on in the show. And lastly, we got to give this Bears player some love because he's been flat out balling, especially this past week against the Philadelphia Eagles. So a lot to discuss here on today's show. Our Week 14 subscriber battle is ongoing. You guys have answered the bell. We've picked up 439 new subs. Those FGB cucks over there on the Packers Report, they're at 111. For the kids watching, don't ask. Let's win this competition. Come on, sub for Bears Dubs and FGB all day. All right, TJ Edwards, is he going to return? We had the report yesterday that he did return to practice, and today he was officially listed as a limited participant on the first Bears injury report of the week. Now, again, these are estimations on today's injury report because the Bears did not officially practice. They practiced yesterday, coming off the Friday game, off day today, then back at it tomorrow and Friday as they continue to kind of manage these players' bodies later in the season. But this would be huge if he could return for this game. It's going to be 10, 15 degrees, wind chill in the single digits. You need guys in the trenches at linebacker to play in this game. I would imagine this is going to be a big Josh Jacobs game for Green Bay. So to have TJ Edwards out there available, filling the alley, that would just be massive for this group. So hopefully he can be a full participant Thursday and continue to trend in the right direction. The following players did not practice, again, estimations, which probably means they didn't practice yesterday. Odunze, he's been dealing with that foot ankle thing for probably about 2 months now. I think it just is what it is. He's going to be having to play through it. I assume he'll be ready to go. Same with Kyle Monangai early in the week, the last couple of weeks. They've been managing his workload. Tyrique Stevenson with that hip. More on him in a second. And then Ruben Hyppolite with that shoulder. I think Tyreek's probably the one to watch here throughout the week. Does he get back? I expect Rome to play. I expect Monangai to play. Hyppolite's not a huge factor either way, so not too concerned about that one. But I think Tyrique Stevenson is the guy to watch in terms of if he can progress enough this week after missing last week with that hip injury. Full participants, Jaylon Johnson, so he came out of his first game back well with that groin injury, the surgery he had, obviously. Noah Sewell, full participant with that elbow. So if you can get TJ and Noah back, along with DeMarco Jackson and Amon O, who have been playing fairly well, that gives you some different options at linebacker. And then Dom Robb, who missed last week with the concussion, and Andrew Billings, who left Friday's game with the concussion, both full participants. You would expect Robinson for sure to be back, but the fact that Billings is already full hopefully means he's progressing through the protocol. Obviously, having 2 extra days coming off that last game really, really helps. Packers injury report, a lot of names. 3 DNPs, Savion Williams, who didn't play last week, Devontae Wyatt, who I expect to go on IR. We know he's not playing in this game or in the game in Week 16. Could be a season-ending ankle injury. And then Lukas Van Ness, kind of like Tyrique Stevenson, I think this is one to watch this week. He was seen in a walking boot at practice, so I'm kind of thinking he's not playing on Sunday. And with Wyatt down, Lukas Van Ness has some flexibility to kick inside, so their depth could be tested along that defensive line. And again, in these cold, old-school, classic NFC North matchups, with it being freezing outside, you want as many bodies as you can have out there. So if he's out, he's not a huge difference maker, but that just is kind of a domino effect along that defensive line. They actually poached Jordan Riley off the Giants practice squad to get some depth on their D-line earlier today. Some limited participants, a lot of guys. Josh Jacobs, Matthew Golden, who didn't play last week, Dontavian Wicks, who had a huge game on Thanksgiving, Zach Tom, Carl Brooks, Javon Bullard, Edrin Cooper, Nate Hobbs, Barron Sorrell, Quay Walker. I think Golden and Walker are the ones to watch. Our Packers Report host, Joey Peterson, who I'm going to do a joint preview with, thinks they're both going to play, so keep an eye on those guys. The rest of these players I expect to be out there. These 4 players were also limited, but they're in their practice windows. They're on short-term IR still. Marshawn Lloyd with his calf. Jaden Reed's in the second week of his practice window being open, so I think he's the one to watch. Does he return this week? And then Colin Oliver and Brenton Cox. Again, they're thin along their defensive line. We'll see if they can activate one or both of those players. It is Packers Hate Week, which means we want to see FGBs in the comments all week long. You know what to do. Spam FGB down in the comments below. Okay, today's show is sponsored by Turtle Beach. Shout out to Turtle Beach, the best gaming brand, number one brand in gaming headsets and accessories. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and under the tree, a gift was waiting, one that would change every game from then on. Remember what it felt like to unwrap your very first headset, that joy, the thrill of plugging it in, stepping into a whole new world. Get that same experience all over again with the Turtle Beach Gen 3 Stealth 700 headset. This is more than just a gift, it's the ultimate throwback to those holiday mornings spent gaming from dawn to dusk. But this time it's better. No more tiny mics or muffled sound, just crystal clear audio, immersive surround sound, and an insane 80-hour battery life that keeps the fun going long after the Christmas lights come down. I've used Turtle Beach's headsets and other accessories for years when I play video games, whether it's sports games and feeling like you're in the stadium or the crowd, or games like Call of Duty, Fortnite. I am ahead of the curve thanks to Turtle Beach. Get the ultimate immersive gaming experience today with Turtle Beach. For a limited time only, head to turtlebeach.com. Use our code CHAT for 10% off your entire order. That's 10% off at turtlebeach.com. Promo code CHAT, CHAT. Don't delay. Get the perfect gift now. Happy holidays from Turtle Beach. Okay, Dan Orlovsky had a really cool stat that I wanted to share and dive into a little bit to why this offense and this running game in particular has just been much more productive and successful under Ben Johnson in 2025. He got this stat courtesy of ESPN's research guy, Paul Himbo. He said a main reason why the Bears are the one seed, early down rushing. Last year, 25th, 87.4 yards per game, early downs, first and second down. This year, 135 rushing yards per game on first and second down. Just to add context, which that's first in the NFL, that would be sixth in the NFL per game total, first, second, third down. The Bears are second in rushing overall, just behind the Buffalo Bills at 153. Bills are at 155. 135 per game, period, not just early downs, would be sixth in the NFL. And again, when you can have success on first and second down, one, a lot of the time you don't even get to third down, and two, it gives you more manageable third downs when you do get there. It keeps the run plays an option, makes it easier on Caleb Williams, so on and so forth. So to have this much success on the early downs, uh, just running the football is just, it just makes it a lot easier to be good on offense. And obviously these two running backs have been awesome. We'll talk more about DeAndre Swift here in a little bit, but Kyle Monangai, I mean, you tell me who's been a better seventh round pick this year. I'm not sure there is one. Might have to do a video on that, just kind of diving into the seventh round to see if anyone's even been close in terms of productive for their team. But both these guys averaging just under 5 yards per carry. They have been absolutely fantastic. Obviously, this offensive line gets a ton of praise. Ryan Poles trading for Joe Thuney, Jonah Jackson signing Drew Dahlman. I mean, listen, Poles is a polarizing guy, but that's a hell of a job to get those guys in here. Darnell's taking a step. Ozzie plugging in there the last couple of weeks. Hopefully, he continues to progress. And then obviously the engine himself, Ben Johnson. I mean, this guy, I was talking about this with a coworker the other day. When you think creativity from an offensive play caller, you think the pass game, right? With the different designs, the innovations. He's more creative, I would argue, with his run game. Just the different combo blocks, the cutback lanes. Like you watch like those little like innovative charts you see on social media where it's just like the little dots of where all 11 guys are going. There is so many moving parts to some of these runs. It's like, God, that is hard to defend. It is just really creative, and the timing is crucial. And these players, starting with the offensive line, but then the backs with the vision, the wide receivers and tight ends blocking as well. It's a collective effort, and it starts with the engine himself in Ben Johnson. So it's been really, really fun to watch, and it's been a treat to see Chicago have a fun offense, especially running the football. Obviously, a big part of this rushing attack has been DeAndre Swift. He was named the FedEx Air and Ground Player of the Week this week after his performance against the Philadelphia Eagles, where he averaged almost 7 yards per carry for a $125 on the ground. Had a catch for 13 yards as well. DeAndre Swift deserves a lot of credit. He's been balling out this year. Some weeks have been hit and miss, and some weeks have been more Monangai weeks. This past week was Swift and Monangai. Both were fantastic, but what a turnaround. I mean, he averaged sub 4 yards per carry last year. We were coming into this season being like, God, can you get like an Ashton Genty and basically replace Swift, cut him after this year? He's gone from we're probably cutting this guy after this year to is an extension in play. Now, I'd probably just play it out, but I think at minimum, he's probably back on the team next year. He's only counting like $8 million against your cap. And maybe you do like a 1-year extension to lower that cap number a little bit for 2026, because this pairing with Swift and Monangai has been really, really effective. And if you feel good about it heading into next year, again, kind of like if Ozzie shows he can be the guy at left tackle, it just gives you so much flexibility on other positions to target, pass rusher, if you need a corner, safety, linebacker, whatever other position. When you're second in the NFL in rushing as a team, you don't have to go chase running backs. Like you can roll with this combination in 2026. And Swift just putting his head down, getting back to work this offseason, and being a leader at that position and playing the way he is. Give him a lot of credit, because this guy took a lot of shit last year from this fan base, including me at times. So shout out to DeAndre Swift. It's been a great fit reuniting with Ben Johnson. Okay, show DeAndre some love. Get the 4s down in the comment section below to show DeAndre Swift some love, because he deserves it on his way to having maybe a career year in the NFL. All right, that's going to do it for this edition of Chicago Bears Now. We will be back tomorrow morning with an episode. Plus, we will have our live show tomorrow afternoon at 4 o'clock Central Time. You're not going to want to miss any of it, so hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications. We'll see you then. Bear down.